Welcome back to season 46 of the P2 London Ultimate Series. Today it is the regular season finale here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It all comes down to this. After this race, we'll know which 16 drivers will see their championship hopes continue in the 10-race fight for the championship. JP Lataro is on the pole for this race, and Isaiah Bernesh will start alongside him on the front row. And here are the rest of the starting lineup here today. Casey Hoyt's the only part-time driver competing here in today's race. So it's all about who's going to get the last spot in the playoffs. Right now, Edith Cardoza is the first winner out of playoff contention, so she needs another win at this point, basically, to make it to the playoffs, being a multiple race winner. So the 20 car has a lot to work here today in order to have her in the playoffs. But if we have another winner, a different winner here this race, the next one to go out would be LG Lataro in the 41 in current standing. But all the points matter. A lot of these big points matter. There's LG Lataro there in the middle. He might be the next one out if he scores less points than Nathan Ormond or even less points than Matt Gomes. Because any one of those drivers in the middle could be out of contention for the playoffs with only one win in each of them. And Rich Roy and Ryan Durrani are also in danger as well if there's another new winner here today. But if there's any winners below Cardoza win, then there's a chance that we might still have we might not have a driver knocked out of the playoffs, a race winner knocked out of the playoffs. So a lot is on the line there. I'll show you the points on the screen right now. See who's going to be in contention and who's locked themselves in. There are some errors on the wins. Cullen Francis says he has 4 wins. He actually only has 2 wins. I do know that Luke Law has 2 wins, and again they doubled him up on the wins for some reason. Dallin Ibrahimian has only 1 win, but here they listed him with 2 wins, and I know that's not true. So yeah, please ignore those errors. But we're gonna try to narrow organize the points as much as we can after this race to see who's in and who's out. But Lataro stands right now below. Cardoza stands out of playoff contention for now. So if there's another new winner, then we might see another one out of playoff contention. But if there's a repeat winner, Lataro might still make it in. Or we'll see. We'll see if that new winner will have enough points to even make it to the playoffs. So a lot on the line here today. And we're about to go green here in Atlanta. At Atlanta, I should say. But we're about to go green at Atlanta. And it'll be a 78 lap race. And stages end on laps 22 and 48. As we're about to begin the regular season finale from Atlanta. Here we go, folks. 78 laps determine the playoff spots. That'll be running in the 10-race playoffs for the championship. It all comes down here to Atlanta. It all comes down to this. And stage points will matter here. Might be the one that might put drivers ahead and might be behind. We shall see what happens here at Atlanta. We're about to get the green flag in the regular season finale. Right here, right now. The green flag waves. Lataro in the lead. Here comes Richardson. He's one of the drivers to try to win and get in the playoffs. Richardson goes to the bottom and takes the lead on the first lap. Right out of the gate, the 6 is out in front. And here comes the 51 Avi Sachs, looking for redemption after losing a narrow one at Monza last weekend. Gonna go 4 wide, almost 4 wide, 78 puts a block. Stringer down the bottom, going for 3rd place. All racing very tightly here in Atlanta. They're all trying to get every spot they can. They're trying to pick up stage points. They know they need those points to advance. They need them at this point right here, right now. Casey Hoyt in 3rd, the only part-time driver in this field. He won at Daytona, by the way, in the opening race. I try to repeat here and try to win Atlanta here today. Here comes the 43, Clark McKee down the bottom. Richardson and Sachs battling inside the top 2. Look at how close, tightly packed these guys are running at. All trying to pick up the win, trying to get into the playoffs. 43 is out into 4th place. Top in the 5th spot. Quinn Moore, Isaiah Bernesh, and now one car's on the grass. One car's on the grass. Allison Rain went into the grass, and along with Nathan Ormond. Ormond won at Monza, by the way, but taking a big tumble in points, not what he needed to do. Not really what he needed to do in order to keep his championship hopes alive. Allison Rain also might have to work her way back up to the front again after they both nearly collided during that period. But man, wow, it's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. Holy cow. It's really going to be close, down to the wire action coming up. And now in third place is Casey Hoyt. Caution's out. One car just spun. That's Colin Francis. They'll race back to the line. 6 cars out in front. So we're going to have to take a look back at what brought out the caution. Let's see what brought out the first caution. Colin Francis was on the bottom, but Liam Stewart got hit from behind by Dylan Ibrahimian, and they collided, and that's what brought out the caution. The 8 car goes for a spin, and it's into the wall for the 31 car, and nowhere to go for Colin Francis, but he is in good shape, though. He's still in the playoffs. He has those 2 wins this season, so he was lucky to get those 2 wins early. One of his wins came right here in Atlanta, but it looks like he's not going to have the same luck here today. But Francis was the one that brought out the caution for the first time today. Let's get back for the restart. Alright, they did their pit stops during the caution. They're trying to make sure that they make it on fuel and tires. Alexander Rose, surprisingly, comes out of pit road first, and Richardson did not have a good pit stop and is losing a lot of positions in the middle of the pack. So those are your pit stops for stage 1, and now we're about to get the green flag. Gonna go back for the restart. Alright, back to the green flag momentarily, and we just got word that Giovanni Castillo is out of the race. He just had a header problem, and his race is done. He already has 2 wins this season. He's already locked into the playoffs. He came in, by the way, trailing 3 points behind Alexander Rowe for the regular season title. It doesn't look like the 19 is going to go home with that title. But the bigger prize is up ahead, though. And that's for the championship. And Castillo, with the win he got this season, and the points and the high point standing he's at right now, it looks like he's safe and he's still in the playoffs even after today's race. So Castillo will look forward to the playoffs coming up in the next race. But the green flag waves again. And here comes the 12 of Garrett Albertson just pulling away. Up and ahead. Alexander Rowe to the bottom, though, trying to fight back. Had a bad jump on the restart, trying to pick up the pieces. Ooh, 1 car's on the apron. That was the 7 of Chris Leone. He's able to barely hang on to it and able to continue. Oh, no, they're not hanging on. Oh, no, 16 got on the apron, too. Oh, man, now things are getting more intense. They know what's at stake here. They know a playoff spot is at stake in this race. Lautaro takes the lead. JP Lautaro is already in the playoffs. He has a win. LG, though, is the one that needs the points to stay alive in this playoff hunt. And if JP wins this race, LG might be safe. And Cardoza could be looking out of the playoffs. Cardoza needs another victory, and if she wins again, LG might be the one out. Or maybe another one above LG could be out of the playoffs after this race. Depends on how this one goes. JP Lautaro is out in front. Alexander Rowe each have a win. Matt Gomes has a win too. Quinn Moore has 2 wins. Clark McKee also has 2 wins. All these race winners all in contention, so it could be a good run so far for LG. Rich Roy down the bottom already has a win. Clark McKee is part-time. Skylar Taylor is the highest driver in the field right now without a victory so far this season. He's currently in 9th. But he's about to get passed by James Richardson. And Richardson to the bottom he goes, trying to pass the 42, with the 14 gaining another spot on the 12. Clark McKee to the bottom he goes. Will he hang on? Another caution. We have a spin. Luke Lowell, Isaiah Bernesh bring out the caution for the second time today. Gonna race it back to the line. And the 10 is going to be out front. 34-43 hanging on. Who's going to get second place? It looks like it's going to be Matt Gomes. He hangs on to second, and we'll have to take a look at what brought out the caution in this period. Alright, so let's see what brought the caution out. And it all started near the start-finish line. And LG Lataro was stuck right in the middle with Isaiah Bernesh and the 7 of Chris Leone. He did not need to be involved in a wreck like that. Looks like Lataro, though, was able to get out cleanly, but not the same for the 3 of Bernesh, as he goes around also by the 5 of Nathaniel O'Hare. 5 car spins him out, and Bernesh gets caught up in the wreckage. On the 1, Jamal Jackson went up under the wall, and they collide each other too. So not good runs for them, and Luke Lowell was just caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. Luke Lowell, I do want to mention, has 2 wins this season, so he's good to go in the playoffs, but Bernesh does not have a win, so it looks like he's not going to be able to make it to the playoffs, unless if something miraculous happens in this race. But not a good run for the 3, and looks like he might be out of the playoffs. And Nathaniel O'Hare got a little piece of it. He looks like he too might be out of playoff contention. But you never know, though. We're going to get back to the restart very soon. Alrighty, guys, we're back here in Atlanta, and unfortunately I skipped over part of the race by accident, and that was my bad, and I apologize. So we're going to end stage 1 under caution, and whoever comes out of pit road first in this period, soical, will be probably the one that leads stage 1 at the end of it to get the stage points. So this could be the one to decide stage 1. Here we go, drivers to pit right now, coming down. During the next caution that I unfortunately skipped over by mistake. So I apologize for that. But anyway, who's out first? It's Cassie Reynolds. He's out first. Wow. Ahead of Matt Gomes. Oh boy, this will be fun. This is going to be interesting. Interesting battle to see who wins this stage. Going to accelerate a little bit ahead just to make sure that the top 10 are as they are. And Dylan Ebrahimian is out of the race. Looks like the caution was brought out because of him. So 31 is out of this race. But if I'm not mistaken, stage 1 results will be Cassie Reynolds, the winner, Matt Gomes in second, Quinn Morse third, Priya McShane is fourth, Alexander Rose fifth, Nelson Herrera sixth, Rich Roy seventh, Skylar Taylor ninth, Skylar Taylor's eighth, Casey Hoyt's ninth, and Connor Breen's 10th. So those are your top 10 for the stage points. And Casey Hoyt might have taken a stage point away, and Clark McKee is going to just miss out on stage points. So a couple of these drivers have not won this season. This is their last chance to make it to the playoffs with a race win. Their last chance to make the playoffs. Reynolds knows this is his last chance to try to make it to the playoffs again after having a winless campaign so far. He made the championship 4 last season, but there's a possibility the 6th team might not make it to the playoffs if he does not win this race. Matt Gomes already has a win this season. Quinn Moore has 2 wins. Priya does not have a win. Rowe has a win. Herrera has no wins. Roy has a win. Taylor has no wins. And Connor Breton has 1 win. That's where they stand among the top 10. Casey Hoyt was the part-timer. He actually won at Daytona. But again, as a part-time driver, he's ineligible for the playoffs this season. Herrera, Snyder, Jackson are inside the top 10 in terms of drivers that have not won a race. And unless if they can catch up and pick up the stage points, it's likely they're not going to be able to be in the playoffs despite having a top 10 points result so far. So it's just tough to win in this league. Real tough to win. Got to be really lucky in most cases to win a race here. Herrera, Snyder, and Jackson, they had opportunities to win a race, and they just couldn't deliver. Snyder and Jackson were very close early in the season, but they just fell short. And, well, The odds for those three are not looking too good to try to win, but Nilson Herrera can still win this race. 6th place now. He's still got a shot. Herrera still has a chance to win and could knock out LG Lataro, whoever goes below, after John Andrews and Edith Cardoza. Cardoza will be the first one out of the playoffs if results hold and we have a repeat winner. But if we have a new winner, then another driver with a race win will get knocked out of the playoffs. That's got to make those drivers in the back nervous, especially LG Lataro. He would be the next in line if the positions don't change among the race winners after this race when we have a new winner. Stage 2 is about to come up. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. Stage 2 is underway. Good start for the 16. And the 15 is on the outside. Not where he wanted it to be. And he'll have to fight back. He'll have to fight his way back up to the top to try to make something happen here in Atlanta. It's still early on in the race. Time is running out to try to get into the playoffs, to try to make it in with a race win. Quentin Moore just took the lead. This was where the championship race was held last season. And this was where the 77 took the win in the championship. But the 2 car nearly turned on that corner but was able to save. Herrera is getting desperate. He knows he has to win to make it in. A must win for him to make it into the playoffs. Can't let anybody else win. And Rowe is taking the lead. Herrera's down the bottom, trying to work his way up, trying to make something happen. He's still got a chance. Just got to avoid trouble. Got to get everything right. Got to get the draft and got to try to take the lead. Car spinning. That's Luke Law spinning around onto the backstretch. But we stay green. We stay green. No caution. Benjamin Snyder's on pit road. And Snyder might have lost his chance to make the playoffs too. He too was close, but couldn't quite seal the deal. So Snyder is out of playoff contention. Luke Law still got those 2 wins under his belt, so he doesn't have to worry about today's result. Those 2 wins are going to put him into the playoffs. He got him early, got him done. So Luke Law's in the playoffs guaranteed with those 2 victories this season, no matter what. Battle for second between teammates. Matt Gomes, Quentin Moore. They're both in the playoffs, so they don't have to really be too aggressive. But they want to win. They still want to win. They still want to add another victory to help boost their chances of getting a good playoff seed or something like that. Trying to get a little bit of a cushion to start off in the run for the playoffs. Just trying to get another cushion to make the playoffs this season. All these drivers are trying to get a little bit of an extra cushion to make the playoffs here in season 46. Sorry about that. I had to get something there. Anyway, 54 cars in the lead right now. Connor Breton is going for the race lead though on the bottom, on the inside. Breton clearing Alexander Rowe, taking the lead. Caution has just come out. There's a spin. It's Maravilla around. Another spin. Matt Hunter around. And Hunter was a championship 4 contender last season. It looks like Hunter will not make the playoffs. Another driver that made the championship 4 last season. It looks like his chances to make the playoffs are looking grim. Skylar Taylor trying to get second before the yellow, but couldn't quite get to Rowe in time. How close was that? It's got to be 4 1,000ths of a second. Holy cow, that was between second and third. It was 4 1,000ths of a second. I just had to check something. But Rowe just barely beats out Skylar Taylor for second place. Wow, that close. Anyway, let's take a look at the caution. Alright, here's the caution. First, let's take a look at what happened to the 77 car. Looks like it was going on the bottom, trying to make a pass work, but the 78 car of Hayden Stringer was right behind him, and he just took him out right down below the apron, and spinning. 78 went into the grass. And 77 just took out the 4 car as well. And I think the 20 had a little bit of a contact there with the 77, and in reaction, forced the 22 up into the wall. And both cars went around spinning. And Matt Hunter took out the 17 as well of John Andrews. But Andrews doesn't have to worry about this because he already has 3 wins this season and is already a lock on multiple wins. Stands very low in the points, actually. He's actually the next to last in terms of the drivers in points among race winners, but 3 wins under his belt. He's a lock in by being a multi-race winner. Pays to win more than once here this season in the series. But Matt Hunter and Ron Morvila both collided. Caution is out. Those are 2 of the 4 championship 4 contenders from last season. All having trouble here in the regular season finale here in Atlanta. My goodness. But Morvila does not have a win. Hunter, Reynolds doesn't have a win. Only Quentin Moore of the 4 has a win. And he'll be back in the playoffs. But the other 3, though, their chances are grim to make the playoffs at this point. So, yeah, not looking good for those 3. But anyway, let's get back to the restart. Alright, so the leader headed down to pit road. It turns out that close battle was for the lead on the restart. And Alexander O was able to take it away from Skylar Taylor. So now he's out in front on lap 34. And we're about to get the green flag. And we're going to run 14 laps until we get to the end of the stage. Here we go. Back to green Atlanta. Let's see who got the jump. Oh, look at Skylar getting the jump ahead of the 54. Almost cleared him down to the start-finish line. That could have been penalty, but he knew he had to slow down. He knows he has to slow down now. Got to keep it cool. Alexander O takes the lead away. He knows that he was given a warning not to jump out like that because he almost actually cleared the leader before he crossed the start-finish line. That could have been a penalty right there. But had to back off a bit and allow the 54 to take the lead. But now the leader's Connor Breton. Look at Connor Breton go. He is in the lead. Here comes the 34. Matt Gomes. Here comes Nilson Herrera in a must-win situation. Oh, they're crashing behind them. They're crashing. Edith Cardozo was among those crashed. Oh no, 20's among those involved. Big crash that could have implications. Racing to the line. Nilson Herrera takes the lead under caution. But it could have big implications in the playoffs as Edith Cardozo was among those involved. Was right now running really low, the lowest of the race winners in the point standings, and could be the first one out of playoff contention. And Cardozo gets into a wreck, and looks like now she really needs a miracle. She needs a repeat winner here today to make it to the playoff. Well, no, she doesn't need a repeat winner. She needs more than that. But now it looks like her chances to make the playoffs are looking grim after being caught up in a wreck in this caution. We'll have to take another look at what brought out the yellow. All right, let's see what brought out the caution. Edith Cardozo was in the middle, and the 12 car just took her out. I don't know why the 12 car just took out the 20 like that. And the 20 collected the 3 in the process and caused a big pileup near this backstretch. Oh no, I don't know why the 12 got into the 20 like that. I mean, the 20 needed help. The 20 needed a little bit of help in order to advance in the playoffs. And now things are not looking too good for Cardozo to make the playoffs. She still has that win in Sonoma, but it might actually not be enough for her to make the playoffs. And how unfortunate is that? I mean, Cardozo's had a season of ups and downs with a win in Sonoma, but it doesn't look like Cardozo's going to make the playoffs unless a miracle happens in this regular season finale. So, chance of Cardozo getting in the playoffs are looking very slim, even if we do have a unique winner in this race. So, even if we do have a repeat winner in this race. So anyway, we're going to get back to the restart in Atlanta. Alright, back for the restart, and we just got word Luke Lowell is out of the race with a camshaft problem. But he's already good on into the playoffs. He already has 2 wins this season from early on this year. So Luke Lowell is good in the playoffs no matter what. Camshaft issue is going to end his race prematurely, but still got 2 wins and he's in the playoffs no matter what. We're going back to Green Flag Racing. It's between Alexander Rowe and James Richardson. And looks like the 6 got to a big start. I'm surprised they didn't penalize him. I think he clearly cleared the 54 before he got to the start-finish line, but no penalty. Like, what? I thought he would be penalized. Shouldn't he be penalized because he jumped over the leader before the start-finish line? I don't know. That should have been a penalty right there. Oh, Matt Hunter getting loose. But he has worked his way up to second. We all thought he was out after getting caught in a wreckage a couple laps ago. But he's back in it. He's in second place. He's trying to make something happen. Richardson leads. But Matt Hunter trying to pull off a comeback for the ages. Oh, he's lost the grip. He's lost the draft. But Matt Hunter was trying something magical. He was trying to come from behind. Oh no, he gets turned into the grass. He gets pushed into the grass. Oh no. Oh no, he got pushed into the grass. He's on the apron. Oh no. Oh, that's not what he needed. Oh no. Wow. I don't think Allison Rain was intending to push the 22 like that. It was caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. But oh, heartbreak for Matt Hunter. Was hoping for a comeback here. To try to make something happen and try to pull off a stunning victory to get in the playoffs, but just heartbreaking. He got up forced into the grass and on the apron, lost all the positions and momentum. Now he's got to work his way back up again. James Richardson hanging on to the lead. Hayden Stringer right behind him at second. These two have not won this season. They're both trying to make it into the playoffs. Neither is Herrera. Oscon has also not won. These top 4 drivers have not won. All trying to win and make the playoffs if they get enough points. Stringer to the bottom. He's actually below in the points than Cardoza. So I'm not sure if the win is going to be enough for the 78 to advance. If he picks up the stage 2 victory and wins the race, maybe. Maybe, just maybe, he has a chance to get into the playoffs. But even with a win, Stringer might not make it based on where he stands in points, even with a win. But he's still trying to win anyway. He's still trying to make a statement today. But now James Richardson's going to fight back and get the lead away from the 78. James Richardson is a 2-time champion, but has yet to win this year. If he wins, he's likely going to... Well, even if he wins, he also is below the points, so he might not make it to it. So the ones in the bottom of the points, they're trying to make something happen. He needs a miracle. Stage 2 victory, it's going to be who gets it and who's going to get there. Really needs a big points boost here for the 78 and 6 car. 15 car is very high in points. He's one of the top 10 drivers inside the points, but no wins to his name. So he's not in the playoffs currently. On this last lap of Stage 2. It's down to Stringer versus Richardson for the stage win. Look at Herrera though. He's fighting back. He's giving it all he's got to try to win Stage 2. Trying to take the stage win away. He's on the bottom. There he goes. Trying to win the stage. A 3-wide battle for the stage win. They know the stage points matters. Here we go. Down the bottom. Who's going to win stage number 2? It's going to be... It's the 78. It's Stringer. It is Stringer winning stage number 2. It was 3 wide for the finish in stage 2, but it was Stringer that was able to hold off and win stage 2. Came down to him, Richardson, and Herrera. Herrera had one last run at it, but 3-wide battle. It ended up with Stringer. Stringer gets the stage win. Holy cow, but he's trying to get a win and hold on. Those points are huge. That stage win is huge for Stringer because he needs a lot more points than a win in order to make it into the playoffs. So Stringer, if he wins this race, will he get enough points to make the playoffs and maybe knock out another driver, another race winner out of contention? We'll have to wait and see. Drivers onto pit road before the start of stage 3. They're getting their tires and fuel in. They're not taking chances here. Stringer's out first. 78 is out first off pit road. Hayden Stringer's going to try to make something magical happen here in Atlanta. Somebody spun out, by the way, during the last lap, but we're just going to go right into stage 3 anyway. So stage 3 is coming up. Alright, welcome back to stage 3. Just got word that the 24 of Nathan Ormond is out of the race. He had a header problem and he is done. We also got word that Edith Cardoza is also out of this race, and unfortunately she might have been the one that spun before the end of the stage, but that's why we saw the smoke entering in the turn there when we were taking the caution break. But Cardoza's day is done, and it looks like she will not make the playoffs based on where she stands right now. So a heartbreaker for Cardoza. The green flag waves, but now all she could do is watch and see if another driver, another race winner will join her among those that did not make the playoffs despite having one race win. It was a chaotic regular season. We have 17 winners among the full-time drivers, and that meant that one had to be pushed out of the way, and the 10 car spins around. Big crash in front of the field. Huge wreck. Huge crash. Many cars involved. And Hoyt's upside down flipping. Huge crash with the 10 of Lautaro. A lot of implications in the playoffs. Oh man, that was the biggest wreck so far today. They were not waiting until the end. They had to give it their all. No stage points left to give. Now it's racing for a win to get in the playoffs. They had to give it their all. They had to leave it all out there. I mean, you knew that something like that was going to happen. You knew that a big crash was going to really happen at the track like this. Holy cow. And Stringer is going to lead us to the caution again, but we got to take a look at that big crash and try to dissect it all. Try to set things up. Try to organize things. So anyway, let's take a look at what happened. Well, things got really out of hand on this corner right here. Looks like Connor Breen was trying to get by the 15, and then look at all those drivers just getting caught in the middle. It was probably in reaction to the near spin that they had in front, so they caused a big crash as a result. Just were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Huge wreck involving many drivers spinning around. Casey Hoyt had the worst of them all. I mean, the 62 went flying. Just flip it upside down. Just was in a terrible crash. Fortunate that he was able to get out of there safely. But man, big crash there on the 62. A lot of big names all trying to win a race this season. Looks like we're not going to see some of these names that are going to be in the playoffs. Wow. Huge implications for the regular season title. Boy, oh boy. It will probably come down to Alexander Rowe there. I mean, Rowe is right now in good contention to make the regular season title run. As Castillo's out of the race, and now Rowe, it's between Rowe, Francis, Fitzwater. Those four are competing for the regular season title. Maybe even Nelson Herrera if he wins the race. Because they might have picked up the stage points last time, and maybe it's Herrera. Maybe Herrera could win the regular season title if he wins this race. But, boy, that has huge implications, that crash. But we're about to get back to the restart. Back to green flag racing. 21 laps to go. And LG Lautaro's out of the race. And so is Casey Hoyt. So it did have big implications. Lautaro with a finish that he did not need. He is currently in jeopardy if another winner comes out of this race in Atlanta. Lautaro is in jeopardy of missing the playoffs if there's another new winner here today. Stringer in front. Breton has a win. Rowe has a win. Stringer does not have a win. Herrera doesn't have a win. Herrera's down to the bottom, going for it all. He's giving it all he's got with 20 laps to go. Herrera's trying something. He's trying to pass Connor Breton. He knows he has to win this race. He's inside the top 10 in points. He has to win this race to make the playoffs. His points might not be enough for him to win the regular season title, but Alexander Rowe is in good shape to be the regular season champion. He's out in front. And with Giovanni Castillo out of the race, it's safe to say that it's likely that Alexander Rowe will be the regular season champion. Might have the big bonuses that comes his way for being the regular season title holder. But the job is not yet done. He knows the job isn't finished. The bigger prize is up ahead. Connor Breen just took the lead away. James Richardson right behind him in second. James Richardson hasn't won. Needs a win to get in. But no, even if he does win, I don't know if it's going to have enough points for him to advance to get by Cardoza or even the next driver who has a win. I'm sure that if Richardson wins and it's not enough points, Lautaro will be safe. But if Breen wins, Lautaro is safe. If Stringer wins, Lautaro might not be safe. 15 car nearly turned. What a save. That was the save of the race so far. Nearly turned by the 14, able to save and continue. That was the save of the race right there. If he had been turned around, his season would have been over. I mean, that was one down to the wire. Holy cow. Alexander Rowe into 6th now. Rowe's trying to fight back. He lost the lead, and now he's trying to get it back. Here comes Breton. Breton's in front. Skylar Taylor 4th. Hasn't won. Skylar's another one of the top 10 drivers that has yet not won this season. When Skylar's ranked 17th in the points, he's likely going to, if he wins this race, he'll be in the playoffs for sure. He'll probably knock out LG Lautaro in the process. Connor Breen would be the next one in line, and Avi Sachs above Lautaro, by the way. Breton is out in front, though. Connor Breen's leading the race, and the points he might get from a top 5 finish might just be enough for him to stay in the playoffs. Avi Sachs is 9th. So LG not looking too good if there's a unique winner here today. Just 14 laps to go. Connor Breen, if he wins again, then Lautaro is going to be safe. If Stringer or Richardson or even Herrera or Taylor win, then he might not be safe. So we'll see how this one goes on the final laps here at Atlanta. Connor Breen's out in front looking to get his 2nd win of the season. Well, it would be his 3rd win of the season, by the way, if Mexico counted when the exhibition we did earlier this year. Herrera's into 4th. He's gonna have to try something desperate. He needs a drafting partner. He needs to pick up the pace. He needs to get a drafting partner, draft alongside that partner, try to get to the front. Top 3, really far behind him. Really far ahead of him. I'm sorry, really far ahead of him. Top 3 now battling it out. Herrera's 4th. Rowe is running inside 5th. Stringer's running inside 5th as well, inside the top 5. Battling for 5th with Rowe and Stringer. Things have calmed for a bit, but who knows if another storm might be coming. Even the clouds tell it's another storm coming. Connor Breen's out in front. If Breen wins this race, he'll have his 2nd of the season, and Lautaro is in the playoffs. Cardoza is out, as she retired early on, and now Cardoza, all she could do now is hope for a miracle for her to bump up and make it to the playoffs, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So Cardoza might be the first one out of the playoffs with a race win. And Latar, though, he's got to hope that we have a repeat winner today. Because if there is a repeat winner, Lataro stays in. And we have our playoff field set. 10 laps to go. 47 out in front. He's got in the right place at the right time. Breen's looking at another victory here today. James Richardson trying to hold off Skylar Taylor. Skylar knows he doesn't have a lot of time left. He needs to make a move and needs to make one now for a shot to win this race to get in the playoffs. Here he comes. Looking low for second place. Does he have the draft? Can he clear the 6 car for second place? Can he clear the 6 car for second? Oh no, doesn't get the run. 15 goes the run on the bottom, on the top line. 15 goes a run on the top line. Holy cow, this could be interesting. Now to the bottom goes Herrera. He's going for second. He's trying something desperate. Here we go. 8 laps to go. Can the 15 clear the 6 car? Onto the bottom. He needs some help. He needs drafting help. He has to do it on his own. Richardson's so strong on the outside. Will the 15 clear him into turns 3 and 4? Could be what the 47 needs. They're still side by side. He still can't clear the 6 car. Doesn't have the draft. Can the 15 get him on this corner again? 6 car still hanging on to second. There's no chance for the 6 to get by. No chance for him, and he might lose the 3rd spot to Skylar Taylor. And Herrera's chances to make the playoffs are dimming right now as the laps go on. 6 laps to go. Skylar Taylor trying to clear Nelson Herrera. I don't think he might clear him on the outside. Herrera's going to fight on the outside. What a run he got on the outside lane. But Connor Breen's out in front of the lead, trying to hang on over James Richardson. A must-win for the 6 car to make the playoffs. He needs a miracle. He needs to find a way around the 47. 5 to go. Even if he wins, Richardson might not have enough points to make the playoffs, even with a win. But he still wants to win and make a statement here today. He wants to win 20. He wants to get to that 20 mark this season. May or may not put him in the playoffs, but he still wants to get to that 20 mark in his career. Might try to do it here today in Atlanta. 4 to go for Connor Breton. Breton trying to get his 2nd win of the season, trying to put LG Lataro in the playoffs. James Richardson trying to possibly knock out LG Lataro out of the playoffs. They're approaching lap traffic. Coming to 3 laps to go. Will they catch him? And will they play a factor into who wins this race? That lap car is the 16 Cassie Reynolds. And there still could be a caution that could come down to overtime. 3 more laps to go. Herrera's going to try again. He's going to try to pass him. Does he have the draft? Does he have the run? Just can't quite get there. He just doesn't have the run or drafting partner to make it work. Connor Breen's got a big lead. Coming to 2 laps to go. 47 out in front. Trying to get his 2nd win of the season to put his momentum on his side of the playoffs. 2 more laps to determine the playoff field. Connor Breton won earlier this season, trying to add another victory to his career that he has won a championship. It would tie him with Grayson Acevedo with his 17th career win, another former champion, if he hangs on. White flag in the air. 1 more lap for Connor Breton. Last lap for the 47 team to get their 2nd win of the season and keep Lataro in the playoffs. 2 turns left. They're not going to catch lap traffic. But will the car hold up? Down the final corners. Connor Breen's going to do it. He's going to get his second win of the season in Atlanta, and LG Lataro will make it to the playoffs. The field is set. Breton wins, and LG Lataro is in the playoffs. Alrighty guys, here are the results from Atlanta on the left of your screen. You can pause the video to find out where you finished. Connor Breen, your winner in Atlanta. Now let's reveal the playoff drivers that'll be competing for the championship in season 46. Alrighty guys, it's time to reveal all the drivers that have made it to the playoffs here in season 46. The first driver to make it is the regular season champion, and that title goes to Alexander Rowe. The 54 team wins the regular season title, a 33-point margin over the runner-up. So the first driver in the playoffs is Alexander Rowe. The next driver up is second in points, 33 points back, and that driver is Zachary Fitzwater. The 4-car in his final full season makes the playoffs. He had one winner from earlier this year, but he made the playoffs, and Zachary Fitzwater is in, and he's going to go for a run for the championship for his final full season in the Ultimate Series. So Fitzwater is going to go for the championship. We'll see if he can do it. Next driver in the playoffs, third in the points. That driver is Cullen Francis. 2 wins under his belt. Finished third in the regular season title. Probably one of the most consistent drivers in the field. Cullen Francis is in the playoffs, the third driver to lock himself in. The next driver to lock into the playoffs is Giovanni Castillo. Fourth in the points in the 19 car, despite only 1 win under his belt. I know in the standings it says 2 wins. Some of the wins are errors brought up by auto stages. We know that Fitzwater won only once this season. Francis won twice, and Castillo only won once. So ignore those errors. They were just in auto stages as part. But we now know that Castillo is fourth in points, in regular season points, and he is in the playoffs with that high point standing. Next driver in the playoffs is Luke Lawl. 2 wins from earlier this year, and he finished 8th in the points. So Luke Lawl makes it to the playoffs. And the next driver in the playoffs is Dylan Ebrahimian. The winner from Nashville finished 9th in the regular season title points run, and now he's in the playoffs. He is the next driver to make it in. So far we have 6 drivers in the playoffs. The 7th driver to make the playoffs is Rich Roy. Rich Roy makes the playoffs with 1 win under his belt, and so the 14 team will be driving for the championship. Next driver in the playoffs, we're halfway home. The 8th driver in is Ryan Durrani. The winner from North Wilkesboro finished 11th in the points, and he is in. The next 2 drivers each have 2 wins under their belt and were locks into the playoffs based on those wins. Those 2 drivers in the playoffs are Quentin Moore and Clark McKee. So those 2 will be seeing them in the playoffs when we begin our next race. The next one up for the playoffs, finishing 14th in the points, that driver is Matt Gomes. Matt Gomes makes the playoffs. He joins his teammate Quentin Moore in the fight for the championship. And now we have 11 drivers in the playoffs out of 16. The next driver to make it 12 into the playoffs, the 12th driver in, the next driver to make it is JP Lataro. The 10 car is in the playoffs. He makes it in. And the 10 team will be running for the championship. Just a few more spots left. The 13th driver in the playoffs is Avi Sachs. 51 car Avi Sachs won at Wowick Technology, and he is going to make it into the playoffs based on that victory. He just made it in points, and he just makes it in and becomes a 13th driver to make the playoffs. Next up is the 14th driver. We know he has 2 wins under his belt. We know he was a sure lock. The next driver in the playoffs is Connor Breton. The former champion is going for another chance at a title. So Breton becomes the 14th in the playoffs. So congrats to Connor Breton on a job well done. just 2 more spots left into terms of the points. The next driver to make the playoffs, and he has 3 wins under his belt, but is actually 23rd in points, believe it or not. That driver is John Andrews. 3 wins under his belt, and that was enough for him to make the playoffs. And now there's only 1 spot remaining. The 1 spot is between Nathan Ormond, LG Lautaro, and Edith Cardoza. Now, I did make a mistake in the race. I did say that Lautaro was going to be in the playoffs, but I miscounted how many drivers won races this season. I didn't realize until after I finished editing Atlanta that I made a mistake. And there were 18 different drivers. I mean, 2 of them were going to miss the playoffs, and a new winner would have had another driver with a win miss the playoffs. So I made a mistake like that, and I apologize. But Lautaro, Ormond, and Cardoza, it's down to those 3 that'll make the playoffs. And the first driver to not make the playoffs of those 3 is Edith Cardoza. Unfortunately, finished 33rd in the points despite 1 win at Sonoma. So Cardoza will not make the playoffs. It is down to either LG Lautaro or Nathan Ormond for the final spot in the playoffs. And based on those points, the last driver to make the playoff field is Nathan Ormond. The 24 car takes the final spot of the playoffs, and he won at Monza and was just able to get enough points over LG Lautaro to make the playoffs and compete for the championship. Those are your 16 drivers that will make the championship playoffs here in Season 46 of the P2 London Ultimate Series. But before we go, I have one more twist. Last season, I invited 2 drivers into the playoffs because of some technical errors I had in terms of the points. I wasn't using auto stages at the time, but there was a technical problem in points when I was trying to keep track. So I just didn't want drivers with wins to miss out on it, and so I had to actually extend the playoffs to add 2 more drivers into the field. Well, guess what? It has happened again. As auto stages, as you might have seen, auto stages actually made some errors in terms of who got wins. As you saw, Colin Francis, they listed him with 4 wins, even though he had only 2 wins this season, and that as a result messed up the points everywhere. And it just really, I really thought it was going to be flawless, but even auto stages has its mistakes sometime. And I just don't want drivers to miss out, even with wins, based on those mistakes. So I have decided I will be adding 2 more drivers to the playoffs. That means LG Lautaro and Edith Cardoza will be in the playoffs after all, and will be competing for championships. So those 2 are now in the playoffs, and just like last season, we have 18 drivers that will make the playoff field, and it is going to be a lot of fun with all those 18 in the mix for the playoffs. Now, I'm going to do it differently than what I did last season. I did it normally with the first round cutoff race, having 6 drivers eliminated instead of having the regular 4 drivers eliminated. But this time I wanted to try something a bit different. Now every race in round 1 is going to be an elimination race. That means Darlington and Kansas, the first 2 playoff races, 1 driver in each of them, will be eliminated from playoff contention. It adds a bit more drama and suspense, and makes every position matter in terms of events in the first round during the playoffs. I wanted to add a little bit more intrigue to it, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to do it. But first 2 races of the playoffs, like I said, will each have 1 driver eliminated from playoff contention. And then the third race of the playoffs, it'll be the first cutoff race of round 1, and it will eliminate 4 drivers from playoff contention, as usual. So again, the first 2 events, each are going to have 1 driver eliminated from championship contention, and the third race of the playoffs and the cutoff will have 4 drivers eliminated, so we get back to regular numbers in terms of playoff drivers. We will still have 12 drivers in round 2, and 8 drivers in round 3, leading up to the championship 4 The season finale will have the championship 4, of course, as we did before. So 18 drivers will all make the playoffs, but we will have one driver eliminated in the first and in each of the first 2 events in the playoffs, and the third race of the first round is going to be the cutoff race. 4 drivers will be eliminated as usual. But anyway, I hope I cleared everything up. I know it took a little long for this, but I wanted to explain as much as I could in terms of the playoff field and whatnot. Hope you guys enjoyed our race, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the playoffs. This is Pichu London, and I'll see you guys later.